What's going on, gamers? So, damn, we got a long video here. I've read some stuff. I'm coming to check out some stuff too. Apparently, they're saying that Porter Rock is calling out Alex Heavy. Definitely not here to instigate. You know, I like Alex's content. I know he supported my channel before and helped me out. Awesome guy. I like Porter Rock's channel too, but I've only reacted a few times. You know me, man. But like we said, we're all in this, so let's get this stuff going, right? Handle this maturely. I'm pretty sure Alex is probably going to respond and put him on the stream and go after him. So things get interesting because it's like we saw the drama with MBG yesterday, and then I'm like, wait, hold on. PC fanboy grifts over Helldiver 2 Xbox sale. So he's trying to call Alex a grifter. I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Uh, so are we ready for this? This is going to be a long one, y'all. So I'm all about these long videos lately. Yesterday I tried that too, and I think it's working out. As long as content is good and it's interesting, let's get it going. So you guys want the soft form stuff going? All right, let's go. So let's see what Porter Rock has to say. Here we go.
It's pretty hilarious given the state of PlayStation itself, at least in terms of success.
Okay.
He does make some points on this video. I'm going to give some comments to some of the points he does, but it's weird because he doesn't acknowledge some of the things he likes about gaming in relation to why gaming was like that during the time. And I'll go into more detail as the video goes because, you know, in order for me to explain right now, it would just be long. We could just go right into the video. A little bit of warning, I did speed up his video, so he's going to be talking a little bit faster than normal. That has nothing to do with his original, you know, the way he presents it. I just sped up
That's
a
fine.
dialogue to 1.5, you know, to make the video go by a little quicker. You'll still be able to understand what he's saying, but I don't want you to think like, oh, why is he talking all weird, whatever. It's just speeding up. Let's listen to what he has to say.
When talking about the gaming industry, one question I like to ask is, what the hell happened? It's always this like really weird, deranged thing that for some reason all the companies that I grew up with and enjoyed with video games have all become a shell of their former selves.
So let's kick off with what he says. He's looking at the past and wondering why things were they were in the past and how gaming is now. Right. So let's look at some of his points he likes to present.
Xbox is trying to find their way after losing the entire reason you bought an Xbox for the dude bro atmosphere and online trash talking experience. Nintendo has lost their way after doing everything they possibly can in order to be the most anti-consumer company I've ever seen on this planet. And for PlayStation, well, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to recreate the magic that is Helldivers 2. And man, it is not going good. And when we talk about what PlayStation is...
So I like his first 3 points. He uses Xbox 360, you know, the dual bro console, right? Nintendo, he didn't make a good point because all he did was just say they're more expensive and more anti-consumer. But Nintendo's always been anti-consumer when you think about it, right? They've never been the anti-consumer.
That depends on what you say, because back then you could get Nintendo consoles for $149, $99 sometimes, even handhelds like that, and games for 19. And they were out developing everybody, outselling everybody. So yeah, that old Nintendo with Iwata, I mean, yeah, nothing can compare to that. I get what Alex is trying to say, and I love Nintendo more than he does and Porter Rock, right? You guys know that. I get what he's saying, but this is just the way that the industry is now. They're still the cheapest. Think about it, handheld wise. After them, where are you going? You know what I mean? Even console wise, everything else has been up to the 1,900, 800. So Nintendo is still like that, but it's just it's the way that the market is today. Could they be more cheaper? Yeah, they could, but they just choose not to be. But they're still way better than every other company by a mile. I don't see how anybody could be. Yeah, I don't see how Sony and Microsoft are less anti-consumer than Nintendo. The only problem they have is not dropping the damn price. And because they're not dropping the price, yeah, man, their stores can be ridiculous sometimes. It's like, bro, this game should be $40 now, $30 now, right? I say that. Not challenge it. Yeah, not challenging Porter Rock, not challenging. I was just saying what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We're all keeping it real over here. And like I said, when you see them release their first party games, like look at what dropped on Xbox Day One. Look at what dropped on PlayStation One. Align. We're talking about alignment, right? So we're comparing Helldiver sales. You getting your ass smoked. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we're breaking records, right? Power don't mean shit, right? It ain't got nothing to do with specs. That ain't number one. Breaking all records, dropping heat, right? We had all those next gen games day one. That Sony and Microsoft have all those next gen games. Microsoft had some games, but not new games. You know what I mean? They dropped Mario Kart right at the beginning. They dropped Donkey Kong right at the beginning. We got Kirby right at the beginning. All those other games. Now we see all these third party games coming in, and they're doing very well on that. So the way that they're benefiting the industry, the way that they're benefiting Japan, the way they're benefiting everybody, all these third-party developers, they're all coming to make money. So that is better than ever, obviously, for them. But what's not better than ever is just like anything else in the industry. Everything's up. Food's up. Gas prices is up. So we can't signify them out in the corner and make it seem like they're all this when, like, when you look over in the Xbox world, you look over in the PlayStation world, they're way more anti-consumer. They're winning and dumping on you. Nintendo didn't force you to ever leave no platform. They never went to PC. They never abandoned their base. They stick to their base. They're way better than those other companies by a mile, and they do not lay off, and they do not microtransaction you. There is no way around this. You know what I mean? This is not to anybody in this video. This is talking to the whole world. There's no way around this. They've given more than anyone by a mile. When I ask you how much love have you gave to somebody, you would say, this is how much I've done for the industry. They have given you games for 40 straight fucking years and saved the entire industry and have inspired so many developers to do better. They make people better. Everybody that has ever worked with them has become better developers, and they've been better in the long term. You can't find that anywhere across this world where somebody's doing that right now and they can make people better and they won't lay them off. So people can say whatever the fuck they want about Nintendo, like I said, but you cannot beat what I just said and tell me these other companies can do and give as much. I love Valve, but what the fuck do you give to gaming? You sitting around pirating. I love PlayStation, but you canceled a lot of shit. I love Microsoft, but you had to monopolize and developers get dumped off. None of you compared to Nintendo. So people can say whatever they want about Nintendo, but they still whooping ass and they haven't betrayed. They're staying by the game. They may have jacked the prices up, but they ain't left the game. They didn't betray. Oh, no. They didn't politic. They didn't lay you off. They're just jacking the price up. But so is everybody fucking else. They have the worst shit ever on these other platforms with microtransactions, like a dude spending $30,000 on NBA 2K. So if you ask me who's the most anti-consumer, I would say Microsoft and PlayStation by a mile compared to Nintendo, because you can spend so much more money. You can get fucked over so much. You can get a broken fucking generation with no Unreal Engine 5 working. All these games, more technology than ever, more money than ever, more record profits than ever, and they're still fucking pathetic with these zombie cycles. So if you ask me, Nintendo is still better by a mile, though they're not as good as they were back then. And I'd like to see somebody come beat that. You're not going to, because you know I'm right. And they're going to outsell you, and they're going to make everybody better. And they're going to inspire people because people look to their foundations, their metas to become better developers. That's where you can't fuck with Nintendo. And everybody knows this. GG. Let's keep going.
Product. Right? I don't even like the term, but whatever. They always sell their stuff at what they sell. They've always been expensive. Hell, they used to sell games at $90 or whatever. So he didn't really make a case about that. And then he's talking about PlayStation trying to recapture the magic of Helldivers. In other words, they're going deep into their live service strategy, right? So all three, notice he says gaming grew up, and he pointed at the three first-party studios, right? Okay. He doesn't bring up EA. He doesn't bring up Capcom. He doesn't bring up Sega. He doesn't bring up anybody else. So he's talking primarily the three first-party studios. Chances are, and not even chances are, when he looks at these three companies, he always brings up the past and how great they were in the past. But here's the thing. Even Nintendo still are where they are, but with Xbox and PlayStation specific, they were pretty much like Nintendo. First party exclusives, they only cared about their ecosystem. So yeah, during the 360 era, that's all Xbox cared about. They cared about their exclusives, they cared about the Dude Bro ecosystem, right? PlayStation, when they were not concerned about PC at all or any platform, they were concerned about their storytelling and the things they did for their ecosystem. They weren't concerned about branching out and trying to capture more gamers outside of their ecosystem, stuff like that. I mean, ultimately, Alex, you got what you wanted. You've been cheering for more games on more platforms, put games everywhere. It shouldn't be locked behind consoles. What you didn't, and it's the old adage, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Well, you got it, Alex. You got what you advocated for. You wanted these companies to be multi-platform, put their games everywhere, and they are doing that. What you didn't think about is the execution of that strategy and how they're going to do it. You want them to put games everywhere, so now they're thinking about everybody. and they're using metrics and all that stuff to gauge everybody. So no, Microsoft is not the dude bro company because that doesn't engage everybody. Everybody does.
That's their success. That's their DNA. That's how they got to where they were. But when that goes away, yeah, they have to go to PC because that wasn't working anymore. So yeah, they can't be the only dude, bro, like the Halo. Yeah, that stuff is gone, right? That's not working right now anymore. I get what he's trying to say, and they did adjust because people always wanted Sony to do that. But obviously, there's still room to criticize.
Doesn't want a
I'm
dude bro
going to.
specific brand. So guess what? The dude bro mentality is gone. Dude bro doesn't sell to the mass audience. PlayStation, their specific single player storytelling things specific for PlayStation, they needed to expand out of, or they want to expand out of that. So they got to make decisions that gathers everybody. And right now, live service games is the wave. Sure, lots of failures, but when the game hits, it hits, and everybody loves it. That's just how it is. For Nintendo, you're just complaining about the price. I mean, we all complain about the price, but when it comes to
It's what I tell people. I'm not even talking to Alex. I wouldn't even talk to anybody. It's the whole world in general. All this whole anti-grift on YouTube in general. All these people, they don't even have the console. But you're telling somebody to don't go do something so they can miss out all these experiences. And if they would have went and got all those experiences, they would have been happy. And I've seen people that have went and done it and said, I'm glad I didn't listen because my experiences has been good. I can afford it. It's no damn problem. Stuff over here is way more expensive. It's not really, an issue to me. So you want to listen to hear somebody complain so you can miss out on all those magical experiences? I don't think so. Definitely if you can afford it. Because it gets to a point to where it's like, do you know how ridiculous this really is if we really want to pull down the curtain? Like, imagine trying to stop Call of Duty. Do you think you're going to convince those people? They fed that way too much. Look at it. You got to deal with it when it's a problem at the beginning. Otherwise, good luck. You know what I mean? I think some of the stuff people do complain about, I think some people are trying to make a living rather than, just some of the other stuff they're doing. Because I'm like, I get what you're saying, but you're not going to make a dent against it, right? So let's work on what we can actually fix instead of wasting our time on mundane nonsense that is not going to help the gaming industry. But that's not going to happen because people need angles to grow. Like, I have angles for my channel to grow. The algorithm wants me to salt farm a lot too. I got to salt farm, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of what's available. Definitely where I'm at. Also, I do adjust. I love doing it too, but yeah, of course, I like doing other things, as you guys see, my interviews and all that other stuff I do.
their core audience, that's all they're focused on. That's why Nintendo is still Nintendo. They're not chasing live service strategy.
No.
The only thing you can say is that they're just a very expensive brand, overcharging for their games and all that stuff.
But how are they expensive when you're allowed to spend way more money on those other consoles? And all they ask for is maybe 5 or 10 more for an entry fee on one game so far. That's it. And then people make a big deal out of that, but all of these other companies do shit way worse 24/7. That's why I said in my videos, I get tired of the hypocrisy. And it's pretty obvious when people have angles towards one company over the other. Like I can see some people saying, hey man, it looks like you having more of an angle towards PlayStation lately than Xbox and Nintendo. I admit it. You ain't gonna see me sit over here acting like I don't, right? But I see some people go against Nintendo, or I see some people go against Xbox, or maybe one platform, but they're not honest about their angles and their takes. And I'm like, it's pretty obvious that you want to make Nintendo look negative, rather than giving people a real honest perspective, which is what I'm going to do. And there's what's like, man, it's pretty obvious that you're slamming Sony lately. Oh yeah, I'm very honest about it, but I don't hate Sony though. Do I like them? No, not really, no. But do I respect PlayStation? Sure. Just like I respect and like Xbox, but I don't like Microsoft. Yeah, big difference.
Right? But I think the reason why they're getting away with it, because they're sticking to their brand. If you don't like
People
their
respect
brand,
them.
don't buy it. But the people who do like their brand, they're buying it, and clearly Switch 2 setting the record for launch console sales shows their community is willing to pay for it. I mean, it is what it is.
That's
Is trying to
correct.
recreate, take a simple look at this. According to Hazardor Gaming on Twitter, Helldivers 2 is currently the #1 top paid game on the Xbox store for the United States. It's so funny to see all the narratives that are completely being broken in front of every single fanboy simply because of this tweet. In fact, I went into the Xbox store page just to verify it myself, and lo and behold, at the time of this recording, it was in fact #1 on the Xbox top paid games for the US. All the garbage of Xbox gamer don't buy game, Xbox train your customers not to buy game, Colin Moriarty taking a tube in his
This one game doesn't change that, Alex. All right, you got a broken clock. Twice a day, that clock is gonna work. is going to have an accurate time twice a day. So the clock works. The clock is fine. Last month, and the funny part is we already seen something similar. Last month, Final Fantasy 16 was the 4th best-selling game on Xbox. The 4th best-selling thing. It was among the top 5. But in the top 20 overall, there was no Final Fantasy. Okay? So a top-selling game on Xbox doesn't mean much. The audience isn't there, right? You got to look at math.
Well, for Helldivers, we know that game's going to sell over 1 million. I think it's going to get to 1.5 for the end of the year, or something like that, maybe 2. But what he's saying, I think he's kind of saying that if you look at Xbox's #1 seller and you compare it to probably PlayStation #1 seller and to the Switch #1 seller, there's a massive difference in numbers. Whereas like #1 on Xbox could be like number 15 or top 20 on PlayStation if they got enough games up there. I think he's kind of trying to go to that point. But my thing is with Helldivers 2 is that that's just a success regardless. All that other stuff, it's like, yeah, 16 is not the demographic for Xbox. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's way off, and I wouldn't expect that to do much. Microsoft's going to have to give them a paycheck to put it on Game Pass, and they're going to go to the Switch too and try to get that verse because they're going to need all that money.
If you got to look at it this way, Alex, let me help you out. Let's say you have 30 million people, which pretty much what Xbox has. Out of the 30 million, let's say half don't buy games no more. Doesn't buy games no more because they're on Game Pass. Okay, cool. So now you're down to the 15 million. Okay. Out of the 15 million, let's say a game sells 200,000 copies. Not a lot, but sells 200,000 copies. But there's no other game that sold 200 copies during that time period. Every other game selling like 75,000, 180,000. Guess what? A 200,000 copy game is going to be #1 on that specific platform. Okay? Now you take that 200,000 copies and you put it, let's say, on the PlayStation platform. Where does a game that sells 200,000 copies fall on PlayStation? It'll end up like 29. Right? So the top paid games within the store don't mean much because a game could sell 80,000 copies and technically be #1 on the Xbox store because during that time period, 80,000 is the most for that time period. Okay? That's why I would say to tell people you're probably going to want to wait till Circana MPD because that's when the top selling games on Xbox, how does it translate in the overall sales and among with PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo, where does that fall out? Again, the 4th best-selling game on Xbox, Final Fantasy 16, did not chart at all on the top 20 charts. So #4 doesn't mean anything in context, right? Sure, it's #4 within Xbox, but the ecosystem doesn't sell a lot of games. So the #1 selling game, it would be like this. The #1 team in high school football doesn't mean a damn thing in the NFL. Does that make sense?
And then huffing all the farts as he breathes them in is now trying to figure out what the hell is going on because clearly this is a direct signal to PlayStation. Putting their games on every platform is going to be beneficial for them in the future. And you can see this happen more and more simply because gaming is in fact far too expensive and too many games are in fact fighting for your time. And PlayStation is not going to put up with the simple 100 million user base that you guys have been so accustomed to cheering for. Oh, 80 million consoles sold. Well, you know what? Nobody cares because even Capcom admits that the amount of console sales doesn't matter for them, especially for Monster Hunter Wilds. According to VGC, Capcom states the PS5 price is an unexpectedly large barrier for Monster Hunter Wilds sales, says the Capcom president. In the interview, it says this: the console costs around 80,000 yen, $540. Factoring the cost of software and monthly subscriptions, it comes around to 100,000 yen, $675 at the time of purchase. This is not an easily affordable price, especially for younger generations. This situation is not limited to Japan, but is similar overseas. Our next challenge is to overcome these barriers and get Monster Hunter Wilds to more people. Sales and other events will begin in the future, so we're currently developing a strategy to take advantage of these opportunities to boost sales throughout the year. I have talked.
So the biggest difference, though, is Capcom has no other recourse to make money. They don't have another recourse. They're a software provider, and that's all they do. They don't have a platform where they, I don't know, cut like 30% off of GTA 6. Capcom's not going to make money off of Grand Theft Auto 6. They're not going to make money off of Madden, 2K, and all that stuff. They don't make money off that. So, yeah, Capcom, you know, they need all devices. They got to spread the game. All devices, really any third party, right? Third party in general, that's their main core business. PlayStation, on the other hand, their main core business is a marketplace provider, right? So they got to have a balance, right? They can't treat themselves like Capcom, right? Because if you look at Xbox did what you wanted them to do. Don't worry about nothing. Just go put the games. And now Xbox is like, holy shit, they're just going to get out of the hardware industry. They're eventually going to get out the hardware industry. there's no point in hardware and you creating your own hardware if you don't have a fully functioning store. Right? If you, I mean, I think the whole Steam putting on the next Xbox or whatever, that's the dagger. Because now Microsoft's not even going to make 30% on a lot of games because most people are going to buy it off of Steam.
Well, they're doing that to stay relevant. They don't really care when they have so much money. And as far as what Capcom is saying, well, their biggest market is PC for sure. Yeah, entry level is definitely harder now. Um, and WoW is nowhere near as good as World. So let's just go ahead and be honest about that. Because I was there day one, I beat everything. I got 100% on World. I was in the top, 1% on that shit with the Japanese when I launched on PS4. Even Rise was more better in game wise. I don't know. Something about Wilds is just off.
They're slowly getting away from the hardware. If
Mhm.
Sony goes this direction and fully supports everything, their hardware is going to go away. The
Of
point
course.
of the hardware is to have a market store. That's really the whole point. You have an ecosystem within your store. That's the whole point.
Talked about this ad nauseum. The price of gaming is far too expensive, and I've been left with so many idiots, clowns, and morons saying things like, "Get a job, Roki. Oh, why don't you just go get some more money, guy?" And it's just continually shown over and over again that people on this planet do not have that kind of money to spend almost $800 on a console that is not even the Pro version after the sub, after everything else, and then buying the system and then buying the game. Not to mention the PS5 Pro, which also got a price increase. Oh, look at that. That's another fun one. Just the console is over $800 with the actual attachable disc drive, not even including the stand.
Wait,
We're
how
talking
old is
about
this
game
video?
companies like PlayStation, like Xbox, like so many other.
Well, to be fair, gaming across the board has just gotten expensive. I mean, hell, we just got a handheld that's going to be sold for $1,400. How much does it cost to get 5,000 series GPUs? And they're not getting cheaper. See, right now, you guys are talking, oh, but I don't have to buy that. I could buy the 2070. Eventually, your 2070 is going to be useless. The 3000 series is going to be useless. Those products, they only last for so long, right? And for those who are still using like the 2000 series GPUs, you guys are playing like a 1080p medium settings. Y'all not at the best specs and stuff like that. You guys are not even playing at PS5 specs. All those things are going to go away. When all the legacy, GPUs and CPU processors start hitting the point where, yeah, these are useless, and now you are
I wonder
forced to
how
get into
Alice
the
is going to
4000
reply to
series,
this.
the 5000 series, and eventually 6000 series, and so on and so on, it's expensive across the board. Electronics is expensive across the board. The days of cheap electronics is over. It's over. Even the Switch 1 got a price increase. Electronics are
Yeah, it's just
expensive.
stupid.
That's the new wave.
Mhm.
Period. I
Mhm.
mean, golly, $1,300 handhelds we're at this point.
Yeah.
Others and Nintendo going through and raising the prices of everything because the line has to keep going up. And they're going to be realizing very soon that everything is going to be coming to a head when they squeeze too much and people are going to push back and no longer purchase those products. It got so bad that Xbox finally took the lead on something and reduced the price of their games back to $70. But you can bet your sweet Bippy.
Should have never been 80 because they're retarded. Yo, let me go ahead and damage myself and then drop the price down again. Why not? How about just don't do anything and don't damage yourself? Same thing with any other idiots that did that. It's like, just don't do that. But at least they went back down because they didn't have a choice. Ain't nobody touching that shit. And that's where y'all could do the same. Just ignore them. See?
At some point, those
Yeah.
games will go back to being $80 when variable pricing kicks back in. Thanks.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
because Outer World's not that game to sell
Yeah.
$80.
No. Should have started off with COD.
Grand Theft Auto 6, $80.
That's right.
think
It's
showing
like
on
you're
the
just
shelf?
morons. Yeah. I mean, why do that
Outer
for
World's
that
just not the
game?
game. Some games ain't worth $80. Some games
No.
ain't worth $70. It is what it is, But at the end of the day, guess what? That's on the consumer. Let the company charge whatever they want to charge. The consumer is going to respond. I don't see it as a problem as a game company spending $200 million on a game or $300 million game. It's not coming out of my pocket, right?
Right.
As long as it's a game I want to play and it's a great game, I'll buy it.
That's how I
That's just
feel.
how it is, right? And it's going to be commensurate with the technology. If the budget of the game doesn't go up, that means they're not taking advantage of the hardware. Then what's the damn point of making new hardware? We should just stop. Hardware should just stop be making. No more GPUs.
Right.
No more new consoles. Just stop right now. Leave it as is. Just keep making what we got. Don't bring out a PlayStation 6. Don't bring out the next Xbox. No more new AMD technology, right? New AMD GPUs. No new NVIDIA GPUs. No new CPU, nothing. Just stop. Just leave it what it is. Completely put a freeze on everything. And we'll just stay like this for the next 20 years. Does that sound like a great idea? Because that's the only way things ain't gonna get us up. We just stay stagnant and just lock it in. Just lock it in. Just lock in technology across the board. No more.
See, the thing with that people will realize the truth too. The reason why that idea is interesting is because I've always said this to people. I've even heard some people post things before too that the cards that you have now are plenty and they're not optimizing around that on purpose so that you could buy the new stuff. Obviously, you always want technology to go, but with the way that they're using AI, I mean, it's ridiculous. I just talked about it earlier with the broken generations and all that, and all that nonsense, man. People not optimizing their games and all this other stupid boot camps and shit they're doing. It's like, well, what is with all this retardation over here? Like, ridiculous.
We got what we got, and we stay here for the next 20 years.
Okay.
At that point, budgets ain't going to increase because there's no new technologies to take advantage of. There's no new features, new things that GPUs bring onto play. We just completely stay stagnant. You think gamers are going to appreciate that? I don't know.
It's Nintendo. And this is why I come back to PlayStation. I've talked about Xbox before and their behavior. I've definitely talked about Nintendo and their behavior.
No, but it is a problem in Western society because look at what Nintendo keeps winning with. Everybody's happy, and most people are buying that. Outside of like what people think, in a certain aspect, but it's like, yeah, if you look at the main numbers, so that's what we're talking about. And they're like, yeah, none of those cards to me are necessary. Because it's not what it takes to make a really good video game. It's always been in front of people's faces. Don't get how they didn't notice. I'm like, guys, that's not what gaming is about. And watch. And get priced out, and nobody's going to use that shit, and they're just sitting around. When you look at the game developer conference they're using, they need these type of specs. That nobody needs that. Just spending extra money in a video is getting rich. Yeah, they're the worst. I looked at it last night. They had like 90-some% market cap. So the majority of PC gamers are supporting the video products. I tell people that's why you can't be hypocritical because you can criticize everything on every platform, depending on which one you want to choose, right? But it's quite obvious those other ones have way more problems. That's why I'm usually on PlayStation, because I think most of the problems are there. And if Microsoft has problems, I'll criticize them as well too. But I think we've been doing that for quite some time. We're trying to get PlayStation back to where they need to be.
But right now, it is PlayStation's turn. You see, because over the weekend, we found some really insane news, especially concerning Fair Games and things that Herman Holt has said himself. According to Game Rant, Sony's live service title Fair Games loses another key developer during development. Recently on LinkedIn, Daniel Drapeau announced that he had left Haven Studios and his position as creative director on Fair Games. He goes on to confirm in his post that he has joined Warner Brothers Games Montreal in the same role, expressing excitement over this next stage of his career. Unfortunately for Sony, Drapeau's departure is another major blow to Sony's live service plans, as well as Fair Games' already rocky development, with gameplay details being relatively scarce following its official reveal during 2023 PlayStation Showcase. This is honestly massive. Not only is this the first time a developer has left Haven Studios, Jade Raymond herself, the whole reason the studio was even founded and funded by PlayStation, she left as well. PlayStation has continuously gone down this insane route of trying to recreate live service game after live service game. In fact, when you look...
Congratulations, Alex. You caught up to me from 5 years ago. Congratulations, bro.
I wasn't here.
You're finally there. You're finally there. You're finally where I was at. Hell, I was there. I was already there before the PS5 even launched, before the official announcement of live service game was done by Sony. When people was just talking about that Sony needs to really hit hard on multiplayer, I was like, leave that nonsense alone. Leave it alone. It is what it is. Listen, it's okay if Sony's not good at multiplayer. It's absolutely okay. It is absolutely okay, because the thing that people probably are primarily buying PlayStations for is just ability to make these single player exclusives and stuff like that. These single player contents. That's the primary driver.
Yeah, that's true. Because but at the same time, PS3 had a really good live service go just for its era. You remember that? Like Warhawk, Mag, DC Universe Online. Sony had all those games where they had, you know what I mean, Resistance going at the same time as well, along with Killzone. Like they had a really good balance of single player and multiplayer. Online was free too. And then they picked up those Xbox strategies, and yeah, PS4 was actually good though, but it wasn't amazing. But yeah, Sony definitely did grow in that department, but a lot of people were criticizing because it was the same thing over and over again, the same cinematic rush, same little side character always telling you every single little puzzle, little sprinting around, doing the same thing, getting it like you could kind of see it, so they had to evolve past that, and they're struggling a bit because they did it the wrong way. We know that. We talked about that before.
Right? Sure, they got their little lightning in a bottle with Helldivers, but I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about everything else. the primary driving force on PlayStation has always been their single player games. And that's okay. I don't understand why people are trying to force something, trying to force failure. As if there's a
But they were complaining that they were too expensive. They're not making the money they want to make. So that's why they're going for that live service, expanding out and doing what they're doing now. Sony ain't going to just do that because it's not enough for them.
law that must be done. No. Do what you're good at. Take care of what you got. It's already proven. It's already a proven formula. No one says, if Sony doesn't do live service games, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation. Said no one. People will still buy a PlayStation and they get what they actually want.
You look at the actual cancellations that happened over the past couple of years. If you look back at the last 2 years or so, you can clearly see PlayStation giving the acts whether they were announced or in fact unannounced. And they did all of this even though the simple...
Because ever since I've been more heavy into my PC gaming and Sony's not releasing any games, I don't see why I even get into my PlayStation unless some exclusive comes out that I have to wait on. And that's kind of like the point I've been at for a while. And it's weird that I haven't been using it as much the past 2 years since that great year last year where the Grand Blue Fantasy came out, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of Ronin, Stellar Blade. They had like a good spree going during that little window, and after that it was just a massive drop off. I'm like, oof. And then shit, man, I've just been PC gaming, and then when Switch came out, I got on that too. Was playing a lot of Game Pass because Game Pass is always interesting.
Simplest W's were in fact in their corner, burning hundreds of millions of dollars, dare I even say maybe even close to $1 billion, because Concord alone was estimated to cost them $400 million to put that game out, and it got shut down 2 weeks after its release. And you see there's...
Gee, Alex figured it out. He got it all figured out. Yeah, 5 years later. Kidding me?
Throwing shots.
I said Sony's multiplayer strategy is the worst strategy ever, and that was years ago. Now it's just turning out.
A reason why I bring up Helldivers, because what you're going to be seeing now is a company like Sony no longer betting on themselves. They're going to be betting on everybody else. People talk about the death of Xbox. You're looking right now at the very inception of the death of PlayStation, hanging around and putting their games onto competing platforms, trying to make back as much money as they possibly can, because the bets that they're hedging are not going to be the right ones. And at the very tippy top is the guy running the show, causing all of these problems. If it wasn't for him, it'd be the guy before him. That's right, good old Hermie Hulst. This dude is running this company into the ground.
No, he's not. He's doing exactly what you wanted. So stop the cap. He's doing what you wanted. You voted for this. So cut the bullshit, Alex. This is what you wanted. Herman Hulst is doing what you guys wanted. Games everywhere. That's literally his strategy. Try to figure out games everywhere. So don't say he's running into the company ground now. You voted for this. So don't come and be the guy, whatever. Us PlayStation guys, we don't like Herman Hulst. He took away the focus on PlayStation. He ain't listening to us no more. If anything, he's listening to you. The problem is you don't like the methodology they took. You want things that, oh no, Alex, wait, that doesn't work, buddy. Because everyone's in the play now. They're using data, they're using information, they're using analytics across the board, across everyone. That's all PC gamers, all console gamers, all Nintendo gamers, all Xbox gamers. They're taking all the analytics of every single gamer, from the most casuals to the most hardcore, and they're trying to formulate a strategy that pleases the most maximum audience possible. And we know the whole saying. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. This is what you wanted. You wanted games everywhere. They're doing that. You just don't like the methodology. Oh well, it is what it is. But don't come say, oh my God, you're ruining all. No, he's not ruining. They're doing exactly what you want. Going beyond the hardware, going beyond the box, going beyond the community, going beyond the identity. It's all about all devices. Listen, PC is not PlayStation. Xbox is not PlayStation. Nintendo is not a PlayStation. None of those devices are PlayStation. PlayStation is a culture. Just like, as you said earlier, Xbox was the dude bro console. That was a culture. That was specific to them. Nintendo, you see how they do things, that is specific to them. You got to have an identity, you got to have culture. And when you look at the identity and that culture, you start to produce content and be like, what is the best games for this culture? But you didn't want that. You want the games everywhere. So that's what they're doing. And this is what we got.
Jim Ryan was doing it before him, and Herman Hulst decided, oh, let me take a sip.
I'm curious to see how he's going to reply to that. I'm looking forward to this react.
And do the exact same thing. I can go back over and over and find classic PlayStation, PS1, and PS2 games that to this day would be insane to play. The fact that SOCOM hasn't been worked on from the very beginning is truly a travesty among all of them. If they're looking for...
Yeah, that's your...
Yeah, they should have done that.
PlayStation's not listening to us.
I wouldn't say that's Alex's fault. No, they should have done that instead of being morons, live service gas rushing. You know what I mean? They didn't have that. They didn't have that mentality to think about other platforms even at that time. This is Sony being dumb and ignoring their legacy IPs. Nintendo don't do that. They use it at the highest degree and protect it and slam down people. I know people get pissed about it, but the point is that they're not messing up on that. Microsoft's doing a better job than Sony on that. They have to realize their legacy, and they're just not. And they're chasing stupid modern goose chase trends. It's because that's what Jim Ryan wanted to do. I can't say I would blame any consumer over that. That's where we disagree, Puerto Rock. I mean, I get what you're saying. They are listening to them, but we know Sony's not going to do what they don't want to do.
Literally one of the top games PlayStation gamers have been talking about for
Yeah.
years. On top of Bloodborne. You're not seeing these games. Why? Because of you. Because you said put games on my platform, put games on my PC, games should be everywhere. And Sony's like, oh yeah, we're going to put games everywhere. But we're going to use analytics and metrics to see what everyone wants. Meanwhile, us PlayStation gamers, hey, Sony, bring back Soulcom. Sony's like, yeah, that might not work for the whole entire audience. Hey, Sony, Bloodborne, please? Yeah, that might not work. Resistance? This game, that game, all the PlayStation Classic catalogs that PlayStation gamers enjoyed? Nope. They want to make purple games. They want a games that are on the level of like a Fortnite and Apex Legends and all this other stuff.
That's just Sony being dumb, chasing modern goose chase. I don't got nothing to do with anybody else. They shouldn't be doing that.
Because you are now part of the equation.
Yeah.
Your PC Nation is now part of the equation. So we're not getting the Soulcom. They're not doing that. That's a PlayStation specific ideology. And they're not going for that. They're not listening to us. Yo, you would listen. They're not giving us a Bloodborne. That's an easy win. What is more obvious than a Bloodborne 2? That is like straight up obvious. You don't have to be a genius. You don't even have to be like a hardcore gamer to figure that one out. And they're still not even doing that.
For a live service title, when right now what people want is a 5-on-5 class-based system with a military style to it, and especially having the SOCOM name attached to it as well. And don't give me they don't want to pay the money for the license. Well, they sure shit paid $400 million for Concord. They don't want to give the US Navy the money for that as well. That's a stupid argument. PlayStation is hedging their bets.
No, it ain't that. They don't believe that game's gonna sell. They don't believe that's it.
They do truly believe that, but they know they're slow.
Across everything. They want to make purple games. They want to make extraction shooters. They want to make battle royale.
No.
It is what it is.
It's not PlayStation, though.
Got what you want it, bro. Gaming's everywhere. Love it. Enjoy.
Dude, they could have made an online live service game. SOCOM with my MTX. Oh, Sony's just being dumb. We've talked about this.
Eat it up. Eat it up. Remember, I think you made a video. I'm the customer. Listen to me. Yes, you're the customer. So here you go. Buy the shit they're offering. I don't know what to tell you.
In all the wrong directions, and they're doing everything that they possibly can in order to fail in the most spectacular way possible, with ever-inflated budgets consistently over and over again. Old heads like Sean Layden saying, buy your games day one. There weren't enough sports cars in the parking lot of SIE to this day compared to back then, and then all the other bullshit we hear over and over again, not providing the customer and consumer with the actual product that they want. Meanwhile, the reason why I brought Helldivers up is because they're doing it. You see, Helldivers is doing exactly what the consumers want, what the actual players want, what people who give them money want. They said, guess what? OEST, we're going to put that shit in there the right way. Oh, guess what? Now we're going to keep updating the game consistently.
That works, though.
Over and over 100%. Again. More war bonds to keep playing. More ways of actually having fun with your friends while you play our video game. You see, that's what's missing from all of this.
They were going to do the same thing with Concord. Why do you think Sony was not going to add more content, keep it update? Listen, their entire live service strategy is based around that. Every live service strategy game.
But Helldivers is a real video game. Concord is political garbage. Soulless, sugar-coated political garbage that they're trying to chase to get some type of trend instead of actually making a video game. Like I said, they lost their way, right? There's no way around that. You can't be that blind and do all that type of stuff without including your old legacy. Like, you got to be insane to me. That was the most I've never seen. Dude, oh man, no, there's no way around that.
It's going to do the
Can't
same
blame
thing.
anybody but them.
They're going to constant updates, provide that, provide stupid marketing, partnerships. They're all going to do it. They're all going to do it. The only reason why this is successful is because this particular game was like in a bottle. People enjoyed the gameplay. That's it. You think Concord was not going to get updated? You think it was not going to get more map packs, more weapons, more war bonds, whatever the hell?
Yeah, I'm sure we could say that about a lot of games. You could say Redfall is going to get updated, but I mean, it was mid. They launched it like that. Nobody liked it. Failed.
They called it. It was going to be the same thing. Marathon's going to be the same thing. That's the whole definition of live service game. Alex, every single game, live service game that Sony is going to try to release, it's going to have the same template formula. More content, updates, collaborations, all of it, right? What kicks it off though, right? Because all that other stuff is stuff that comes in time. The initial impact is just simply the gameplay. Is this gameplay fun? Do people want the gameplay? If people don't want the gameplay, then it doesn't matter all the updates and content, whatever. People are just not going to play, and that's what happened to Concord. People saw this is generic. This looks like Overwatch. There's nothing meaningful with the gameplay or whatever. And here's the crazy part. You know, if you look at the people who played it, whatever, from a technical perspective, nothing was wrong with Concord. You didn't hear people saying, "Oh, the server's crashing, the gunplay's bad." All the gameplay
nobody cared about it.
solid is just generic.
It's called poor artistic vision. And ugly ass characters nobody wants. Definitely in today's world. Come on, man. I ain't buying no cosmetic for that big elephant Pumbaa looking bitch, you know what I mean? Just looking all out of shape. It's like, man, no, bro. Look like you trying to force something on the screen from people who don't want you in real life so that you can get some attention. Don't ruin my art, though. Get out of here. I don't want nothing to do with that.
It was an Overwatch clone. People didn't like the look of the characters and all that stuff. They just wasn't interested. But you were going to get all that. You were going to get the same treatment, the same service, updates, and this, that, and third. Every live service game that Sony's going to release is going to have that formula. Hence, live service.
Okay.
So Helldivers is not unique in that sense. What made Helldivers hit was the gameplay. It had a gameplay that wasn't generic, that didn't match people. That's the key. Don't create games that's generic. Right? Because it doesn't matter how much content it gets released. If it's generic, it's generic. That was the thing. But here's the thing though. Helldivers is lightning in a bottle. What other game is Sony's going to create that's not generic? It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Every single video game company, and especially PlayStation, is missing the one word
That's
that is
the
one of the
problem.
reason why people play video games in the first place, and that is fun. You see, right now what's happening is there is this insane culture in PlayStation about having to be a sad dad with a little kid, whether it's a boy or girl, walking simulator to have some emotions about everything. Instead of just being like, I want to blow shit up. That's the good shit right there. And you see it happen over and over again. We make fun of the PlayStation template.
Did he try to talk shit about God of War, a game that sells 10 plus million? Now you're just getting stupid, Alex. You're really gonna argue a game that sells 10 plus million. You really, so the rest in this video, you're going to attempt to talk shit on a game that says 10 plus million, even 20 million. You're not really gonna do that. You're not really gonna be this dumb to say gamers don't want a game that says 12 plus million. You're really gonna go there. All right, let's hear your nonsense.
Like that third person over the shoulder, most cinematic storyline.
Every one of those games is successful. Hell, even I would say the one game that's not successful is Days Gone, right? And even that game sold like 7 to 8 million.
I love that game.
That whole picture is showing 10 plus million selling games that people want. And when those sequels come out, they're going to sell 10 plus million. So you can make fun of the template all you want. They sell 10 plus million. People want them. So I don't understand what your argument is going to be in this one. This doesn't make sense. You're literally going to make fun of a game that ends up selling 10 plus million copies. Get a clue, Alex.
Gameplay where all you do is basically just take the controller
That's their beef.
and you put that bitch down for 45 minutes while you watch the fucking game being played in front of you, and then do a QTE cutscene by pressing square, and then you tap X
This
randomly
guy's a
while you're doing
fucking
that. Yay, game!
Bro, have you not seen Kid Smooth play The Last of Us on grounded level? The man beat the shit out of his controller. Like, we seen the games. Like, Alex, we see the games. We know how they play, right? The only people you're fooling, I'm going to tell you, the only people that believe you, I'm going to tell you, the people who believe you right now are the people who don't play games. So, yeah, people who don't play these games, yeah, they're going to believe you. Literally, seen Kid Smooth beat the crap and break his controller ungrounded. Come on, bro. What are we doing here?
Gameplay. No, that's not fun. Nobody likes that. That's the problem with the industry. Nobody
likes that. It's just selling 10 plus million because people are just going to keep buying these games because they don't like. Are you dumb, Alex? If people didn't like these games, they would be like Concord. Complete failure. Last of Us 3. You really think Last of Us 3 is not going to send 10 plus million? They didn't even announce it, but I'm going to tell you, when that game gets announced, oh yeah, 10 plus million. Horizon, Zero Dawn 3, 10 plus million. You really going to bet on Horizon 3, not saying 10 plus million. Intergalactic Heritage Proxy. Yeah, you think that's going to flop? That's not dropping 10 million? Really? Really? Nobody likes those games, but they just magically get bought and people enjoy them and play them. In fact, that's what people are begging for. Come on now.
he has any fresh new ideas, and nobody's trying anything.
Well, you guys see it here. Porter Rock's calling him out heavy and insulting him, but I'm pretty sure Alex is going to reply. Probably put him on a stream or a video. Josh might reply too. Let me know what you guys think about this. Never seen this before. Just wanted to react. Let's get some stuff going. This is what you guys want. So let's get some entertainment going. You know, I always enjoy Alex's content. I've been enjoying Porter Rock's content coming on and off. Oh, but I haven't seen him enough. And then I said what I had to say earlier. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So let me know what you guys think. All right, peace out. Y'all have a great day. Ponies, sit down.